have different way how we can create a list. Okay, and to create a list we have different methods. Like we have a normal method where we can put the values on the list, or we can put the values on the list through different operations. So if we'll create the list with different other operations, uh, other than the simple creation of a list, so will say that it is a list comprehensive. And generally we'll use for loop in the list comprehensive. That using the for loop we use to create the list comprehensive, or we implement the list comprehensive and we'll create the list through the for loop. Let's go into list comprehensive and try to understand it. This is a simple example where we are creating a list. And how we are creating the list, we already know that whatever we'll put inside the uh, square bracket, it will take it as a list object. Now inside that, we are not putting any values. Instead, we are putting the for loop. And you can see the simple syntax of the for loop is starting from for, and then we have a variable, then I say in, and some object in which that variable is going to iterate. But here we have another variable x. So what we want to do is we want to return x, and this value, which is a x, we want to return that particular x, and x will iterate from this particular string. So definitely it will iterate one by one, right? So in that way it will be iterating, and from that way it is going to create a list from this particular string. Getting it? So once we run it and we'll try to see what is the value of list, and the value of list will be the different characters from the word. So that particular method is called list comprehensive, and generally we'll use for loop in the list comprehensive. And you can see there is no body of the for loop. There is just a return value from the for loop. Let's go and see some more loops here. Let's say we have a for loop, and this for loop will start from the range 0 and go up to 10. We have used a function called range. About the range function we already know. It will create, or it will give us the value, the numeric value from 0 up to 10. So it is a 11. So 11 minus 1 up to 10 it will be going to give us as the object. And this particular object will put in the for loop, and x will going to iterate through these values. And what x will do is x is going to, so this for loop is going to return x to the power of 2, right? So that arithmetic operation we already learned. So it is nothing but x to the power of 2. So for x, for the first value it is 0. So 0 to the power of 2 is 0. Then it will be 1. Then 1 to the power of 2 it will be 1. Then 2. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. Then 3. 3 to the power of 2 is 9. Then 4. 4 to the power of 2 is 16. In that way it will go up to 10. 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 2 it will be 100. So this is how your list has been created using this particular for loop. Okay. Now what else we can put inside the list comprehensive? So here is the example where we can put if statement also inside the list comprehensive. Now we have a normal for loop where we have a variable which will go up to this particular range, and then there is a if statement. This if statement will go for the condition. If the condition is 0, then only x will be returned. If this condition is not equal to 0, this condition, this x is not going to return. So this is how it works. So x will be in range 11. So range has a 3 parameter, start value, stop value, and steps, right? Range can have 2 value also. Here it is start value, this is a stop value, and the steps are by default 1. So if we are not writing steps, so it will take automatically. And this is another variation of range where we are putting only one value. This is a stop value. So by default, it is starting from 0. The stop value we have to give, and by default, we know the step is 1. So it is, you can assume that it is looking like this, okay, which is 0, 11. This also we can write. So there is no issue on that. Now what it is doing it is just printing the even values. So just run it. It is going to print some even value, means x is starting from 0, 0 mod 2 is a 0, so it 0 is printing. Then 1 mod 2 is not 0, then x value is not going to print in that way. This is a very good way how we can put a logic into one line. So a simple logic, that for that we are wasting a lot of lines, that we can put in one simple line. Let's see some more complicated example related to list comprehension. Now this is some temperature value which is in the Celsius, and we have to convert this temperature value to Fahrenheit. So how we can do that? So we have a for loop, we have a variable called temp in Celsius. This is an object. This Celsius is nothing but these values. So for is going to iterate from 0, then 10, then 20.1, and then 34.5. We'll iterate like this, and then temp is going to return. So temp is not going to return. Temp will be multiplied by 9 by 5 plus 32. So it is the formula for conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit. That value actually we are putting into the Fahrenheit. So you see, once we run it, these value is going to print. So for 0 it is 32 Fahrenheit, for 10 it is 50 Fahrenheit, for 20 it is 68.18 Fahrenheit, and for 34.5 degrees Celsius it is 94.1 Fahrenheit. So this is how we can do the list comprehension. So basically for loop will be there, and we are adding some more logics on it. Let's see another example of list comprehension. Here we have an example of nested for loop. Now what is the nested for loop? Here if we'll go to the outer for loop, so what we are returning x to the power of 2. Okay, means x square we are returning. For x in what? In this particular object. And what this object is giving you? This object is giving you the x value from range 0 to 10, and it is also giving you the x square value. So could you tell me where you are getting this particular logic previously? So this particular logic is in the example. You can see here. This is an example, right? So the same example we are using here. So this particular list will be replaced by what value? So it is going to replace by 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, in that way up to 100. And this value has been given to this x. So x will be again initialized by 0, 0, 0 to the power of 2, it is 0. Then 1, 1 to the power of 2 is 1. Then we have 4 here, right? So see this example. 0, 1, then 4. 4 to the power of 2 is 8 is going to be printed. Then 9, 9 to the power of 2, 9 to the power of 2 means 9 square is 81. And then 16 square, then 25 square, then 36 square. In that way it is going to print in this particular example. So you see, this is an example, right? If you want to make it more uh, easier, you can do that. So here what we are doing is, here we are making a list, right? And we are putting into temp1, and instead of that, so I'll just comment it out. And instead of this particular, we can use temp1, right? So it is just the same. So I think the same output will be given by this also. Let's see. See, the same output has been given here.